Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to the video. I appreciate you clicking on it. I really do. If you would go ahead and subscribe if you're not already, that would be awesome. And please stick around for the video. I have some awesome content. If you came here today to see a really exquisite knife, just something beautiful, an heirloom quality piece made by yours truly, well, you're not going to be disappointed. Let me show you the knife that we were working on in the last video. If you haven't checked out the last video yet, go ahead and watch it right now. Just click up here, one of these corners, I don't remember which one, and go ahead, watch that video to give you the context, the setup, then come back and watch the remainder of this video. And there it is. How beautiful is that? Am I allowed to say that? Given that I built the knife? But man, I just love this thing so much. Look at that tang. That jimping there. Hand cut jimping. Hand filing. Look at those scales. Look at that tang filing on the underside as well. The figuring of that pine cone, the mosaic pins. That grind, look how perfect that grind is. Nice long handle there. Got that thumb jimping, just a perfect purchase on the handle. Oh, I can imagine that doing some feather sticks right now. Incredible. But not until we get that final edge on, which is what we're going to do in this video. Going to go ahead and put a beautiful mirror polished, shaving sharp stone polished edge on this knife.
Hi, tickle tick.
Okay, here we go. We're going to stone sharpen that knife. Now I know some of you are catching the foreground here now, catching some of those beauties. You stick around to the end of the video till after we get that knife sharpened, and I'll show you just what we have here finished up on the bench, including some of those that are available to you to purchase right now. Get my Nanawa stone holder. Let me think about what we want here. So here's the plan. I'm going to start with the Shapton Kuramaku. This is the blue black, a 340 grit ceramic, beautiful stone. We'll go to the Shapton Glassstone 1000. We'll progress to the Glassstone 4000. The Nanawa Professional 5000 grit. This is a beautiful stone. And I think maybe even after all that, we'll get up to the King Goldstone 8000 grit. So let's start here in our beautiful arrangement, and that is, we just have a single post here right over like a laundry tub style sink, which works really well. All your water falls off. You can have as much mess as you want. All falls down into the sink. So really happy with this setup. Starting out with that Nanawa, or that Shapton Kuramaku, sorry. Just going to wet it down a little bit. See how thirsty it is today. We have a Nanowa 600 grit dressing stone in soak. That is a thirsty stone, so you do need to give that a little soak. I'm just going to give this a scrub down just to clean up the surface here. Don't want any junk on the surface, whether from storage, from our last sharpening session, whatever. Want it nice and clean. And here we go. Now this knife actually has a very thin saber grind, almost a zero grind, which means there didn't really need to be a secondary bevel on there. You could have had one grind, almost like a scanny right to the edge. That would have been a little bit too thin. So I took this on my belt grinder, 400 grit belt, put just a small secondary to bring the edge up a little bit and to make it a little more stout. Now I'm just going to reinforce that angle here on this stone, this Kuramaku. So we'll just make sure the shape is nice and even and flat for the stone. The belt could add a little convexing that we don't want there. Beautiful. With a grind like this, it's very small. It's not a very wide secondary bevel at all. So this is where you really want to concentrate on how the knife feels, how the angle feels. You don't have anything, when you plant the knife on the edge, you don't have any surface that the knife will hold on. It's completely up to you to hold that there properly. Already, just that quick, since this is so thin, we don't really need to remove any amount of steel. So I'm just going to go ahead right now and go right to just a few cutting strokes, one for one. Notice I'm switching edges quickly. That's how I like to finish on my stones. Given the grind we put on this knife, that long sweeping belly, this style of blade, we have, it's just a really nice knife on the stone. You don't have a real sharp swoop, you're not doing a lot of nonsense, just a nice, very easy to cover the entirety of the edge. We should be done with that Kuramaku now. I can feel a burr there. Really sharp bite, grabby edge. Switch to the glass stone there now. I'm gonna clean up my 1000 glass stone here now. I love this stone. This stone has a beautiful feel or experience for the user. Texture is very velvety. Clean it up good, get all that dressing stone particle off of there. Beautiful, now that's a nice clean stone. Okay, we're going to plant. I always start at the heel. Some people, I guess, might start at the toe, but I always start at the heel of my knife. See, I've added a beautiful sharpening notch, so we're not chewing up the edge of our stone here by smashing it with the tang there. Going to do full length passes. You guys know that I don't always do full length passes. If I'm doing something like, say, let's see if I'm carrying it. Yeah, my Benchmade Osborne here has a long straight edge and then a sweep. So a lot of times I'll focus on the straight edge, switch up to the sweep, back and forth. It's just sometimes it makes it a little easier to sharpen that way, rather than it can be tiring doing so much movement. This blade, because it has just such a long, soft trailing edge, it's very easy just to stick with this nice sweeping motion. You see my hands aren't doing a lot of movement, very little movement. We're keeping pressure nice and even. I keep 2 hands on there. This is a long blade. Definitely want 2 hands. I'll sweep in until I bury my index finger in the stone. cutting and strapping strokes back and forth. We'll do this maybe 10 or 15 passes on the side. I'll switch, do that maybe a couple times. Keep rechecking. Recheck as often as you'd like. Remember, at this point, we're still trying to remove all the scratches from the previous grit. That is our goal now. Remove all those scratches from the blue-black. So when I switch over here now, I can feel that slight burr. So I know we've created a nice little apex there. Nice wire along the edge. I'm going to switch to those single cutting strokes again, just like we did on the last stone. This knife is going to be ridiculously sharp. We'll lighten pressure as I progress towards finishing with any given stone. My pressure gets lighter and lighter. Every one of these strokes here now is lighter in pressure than the last one. A stone like this, a white stone, gives good feedback as to whether you're contacting your edge well or not. I should see a black streak on the stone all the way, right from the moment I start pushing to the moment I end off. There should be a black streak following my hands there. But if you don't have a light stone or a stone where it's easy to tell, like we'll go to the next stone now, which will be the 5000 Professional. That's a dark gray stone, so it's kind of hard to see any feedback. Something you can do, something that was taught to me from straight razor shaving by Ray Bartlett, is to watch the water being pushed in front of your edge. If your edge is contacting the stone, then your edge will push water up onto itself. You'll push a little puddle along. You'll be able to push it right off the end if you went that far with your knife. If you're not pushing water and it takes just the slightest amount to be lifted off the stone, and your water will pass beneath your edge instead of trailing along with you. So just take note of that. A 5000 Professional here now. See what I mean by the color? This is such a hard stone. If it's lapped properly, it feels like running your knife over wet glass. There is no frictional resistance. Feels like nothing. Oh, what a beautiful stone. I use pretty much the same pattern each time. Start with the forward and back strokes. Reduce pressure as I go on, eventually getting to single cutting strokes only. Now our final stone, our 8000. Now this isn't a stone that I use very much. I pretty much never use this 8000 for knives. It's kept for my straight razors. But today, I feel like using it. I've arm tested this thing, and it is already shaving sharp without stropping, anything like that. Check out the polish on that edge. There you go. I can already shave my arm with it. Let's just see how that 8000 feels. Now this 8000 has a little more of a softer feel from that 5000. I'm going to go really slow here now because it is a little softer compound in the stone. And I would hate to gouge this stone given that it's my straight razor stone. You want a very flat, clean stone for straight razors. So I mean very gentle. Just a little light polishing. Little light honing right at the edge. I'm using so little pressure here at this point that I'm almost removing some of the weight of the knife. I'm not pushing down at all. If anything, it would probably be more weight if I let... I am not putting that much weight on the stone. I'm holding in close, so I'm taking a lot of the weight. I'm just letting a small percentage of it down on the stone. Very light. A few cutting strokes here now. And now is the time, if you want it, if you can afford it with your angle, if you haven't gone too steep already, now is the time on these last couple strokes that you could even increase your angle ever so slightly, just to help remove any burr, and just to help give you that extra little bit of edge retention. And now, as if I needed any stropping, I'm going to use, this is a suede side or unfinished side of the leather, but it's been used and scrubbed in so much it's almost a polished side at this point. And it is coated with some rouge. I'm not going to increase my angle at all with this one. Just try to keep it right at our sharpening angle, right on that secondary bevel. Not too much pressure, heel to toe, toe to heel. Doesn't matter. And this knife is complete. The razor sharp, a shaving sharp edge, a stone polished edge. I think that's really, really beautiful. Really nice. Happy I did that. Along with that, this is a custom order here for a customer. We did like a coffee brown burlap micarta. Beautiful bright green liner. I love that. A lot of you guys mentioned, I had several emails on this Nesmec here. Really like that. See, I did an olive green micarta here. Orange thong tubes. Forge finish. Kind of a Sabervex grind. Scandivex, sorry. Beautiful, nice size. Wouldn't that make a nice feather sticking knife? Now on what's available, we have two yellow fox patterns here, which I absolutely love. In a natural canvas micarta, not oiled, not polished. It's got like a chalky matte texture. I want to leave that on there to get that traction. And of course then we did that beautiful, smudgy there now with oils, beautiful, like a lime green liner. Really nice contrast with that forge finish Scandi grind. These are viciously sharp and ready to work. Along with those, we have two Prevails here. Full forge finish. These are a saber grind, but we left the forge finish on the saber grind and just ground in the primary bevel. So that's the only light part here. A fairly polished tang. With that cherry red, polished brass pins, and you can see there we have, although very, very subtle, we have those like a OD tan liner in there. See that? Those last four, two of these and two of the yellow foxes are available. So that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed being brought along with some of the knife builds again. A few of you guys mentioned that it was nice to see some of the knife content coming back. That is exactly my intention going forward the next few weeks and months leading into the fall especially. I tend to do a lot of my knife work. The bulk, the majority of my year's knife work is done in the fall leading up to Christmas time, fall leading into the hunting season, etc. Lots of knife work coming, along with some really cool custom builds in the works. So if you did enjoy the knife work again, I would love if you'd hit the like button. Let me know down below if you had the option to take either of these here on the bench for free to take home. Which one would you choose? I'd love to hear it. Which of these is your favorite? Which would you choose to bring home for you? Thanks for watching. Again, hit that like button, subscribe if it's your first time here, and I really look forward to seeing you in the next video.